we can get a guy like Roquan Smith, difference maker. You know what I mean? We need difference makers on defense. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's another great day to discuss other people's excellence. I'm the unforgettable one himself, Mr. Brett Carroll. And I'm a guy that likes BSN at work. No Charles today. It's just me today, but that's all right. This is one of two NFL pods we're going to do this week. The trading deadline is tomorrow. This will probably be dropped tomorrow, but as of this recording, the trade deadline is tomorrow. So on Wednesday, I'm going to record and drop a trade deadline special in which we'll go over all the trades that were, as well as some that probably should have happened. Because as we know, not everybody that should have been traded or we thought would be traded will get traded. So hopefully some really fun things happen between now and then that we can talk about. And then, like I said, we'll talk about all of it. You know, the good trades, the bad trades, and maybe the trades that should have happened. But for right now, we're going to talk about, just what happened on Sunday. Couple of different things. Both the Jets and the Giants lost. One I think was a big deal. The other one I don't think was a big deal at all. Steelers lost again in a game that I knew we were going to lose, so we'll talk about that. There's a lot of stuff we can talk about, so let's just get into it. Again, Giants and Jets losing. The Giants one is not a big deal at all. They were due to lose at some point. I think every game was one score, so it's one of those weird things where their entire season could be different if the outcomes of those games were different. I think they played well. They had a chance. They fought hard. They were in it to the end. The Seahawks at home pulled it out, and they're having a surprisingly good season. So good for them. If you look at the Giants' schedule, it's still ridiculously easy. The only quote unquote hard games left on their schedule is they still got to play Philadelphia twice, and they still have to play the Cowboys again. So even if they lost all three of those games, they probably won't have any more than 5 losses. So I think this is still going to be an amazing season for them. I still think they'll make the playoffs. Unfortunately, in the division race, as tight as that is, them losing that second game already puts them in third place because they have right now the Cowboys on the tiebreaker. So that's interesting. But again, it's still plenty of time for them to catch up, plenty of time for them to figure it out. And by the way, they're division games. They could win all 3 of those games. So, I know the Eagles are, looking unstoppable right now, but again, we know how division games go. So that's something to keep in mind. The Jets is a little more concerning, a little more heartbreaking. They were playing so well. They're at home. The Patriots just aren't that good. I know they have some wins on their schedule, on their record, but they're not that good. This seemed to be the year that you were going to catch them. And unfortunately, it was just another bad outing. And what's more concerning is, what are you doing with Zach Wilson? Zach Wilson is only in his second year, but he still seems to be very turnover prone. He still seems to be very hot and cold. The talent is there, the potential is there. But I hate to say it, we saw that with Sam Darnold. And so far, we haven't seen Sam Darnold put it together, and it doesn't look like he ever will put it together. With Zach Wilson, I mean, it's the same thing, but he doesn't even have the excuses Sam Darnold had. Sam Darnold didn't have an offensive line. Sam Darnold didn't have a running game. Sam Darnold didn't have receivers. Sam Darnold didn't have a defense. Sam Darnold didn't have the coaching. Sam Darnold was literally out there just to figure it out. And I think he just developed bad habits that he's still trying to shake. Zach Wilson, there's no excuse, dude. I'm gonna continue to say they did more for Zach Wilson in 3 days than they did for Sam Darnold in his 3 years in New York. So if you're a Jets fan, you gotta feel a little concerned. Again, you're 5-3 in a year where I don't think anybody thought you would be 5-3. So let's take that with a grain of salt. But this is a Jets team that I think will still win some more games going forward. Whether they make the playoffs or not down the stretch is interesting because I think they have a little bit harder of a schedule still. They still got to play the Patriots again. They still got to play the Bills. They still got to play the Dolphins. So, with already 3 losses, there are also some losable games out there still. Um, but we'll see. We'll see. If the Jets make the playoffs, I think they can still do it. If they don't, I think it'll still be a phenomenal season for them because I think they'll either barely make it or barely miss it. And it'll be a building year. I think this is a good experience for them anyway. I love Sauce Gardner. I love that defense. They play with such tenacity and confidence. I really love it. Again, the big question is Zach Wilson. Is he the guy of the future? And already you probably played yourself out of getting a top quarterback in this year's draft. So you probably have no choice but to see what he does next year. But I think he really does have, the second half of this year and all of next year to figure out, or he won't be in New York much longer. So that's the interesting part about that. And then, like I said, I think the Giants will be fine. They played hard, they played well. Some, turnovers here, there's were the difference. They know they got to clean that up. And like I said, their schedule is much easier. I think they'll be fine. When it comes to my Steelers, man, interesting dilemma. Again, I'm not surprised we lost. This is a team I didn't think we were going to beat. Um, but at 2-6, I am at a point now where I want us to just lose out. Let's get a top 5, at worst top 10 draft pick. We need some difference makers, especially on our defense. We need more difference makers, and I want us to do that. The problem is that was probably the last no chance of winning game on our schedule. This isn't the order of the schedule. This is just the opponents. We still have the Panthers. We still have the Falcons. We still have the Saints. We still have the Colts. We still have 2 games against Baltimore. We still have the Bengals. We end the season with the Browns, and we still have the Raiders. So none of those teams are like, oh my God, there's no way you can win. They're all basically winnable games. I'm not saying we will win them, but they're winnable games. And I think out of those opponents, I think we could probably finish the season going 5-4, meaning we'll finish with a 7-10 record. It will be Mike Tomlin's first losing season. We won't make the playoffs. Charles will win the bet. But the problem is at 7-10, especially with the amount of bad to mediocre teams in the NFL, at 7-10, you're probably looking at 13, 14, 15 in the draft instead of that top 5, at worst top 10 pick that I think we desperately need. And that's the problem. And so again, this is why I was upset from week 1, even after the win. And I was very pissed off after the 3-game losing skid because at 7-10, honestly, I think I would have rather went 10-7, right? Give me those 3 games back against the freaking Patriots, Browns, and Jets. I would rather go 10-7 and make the playoffs and at least give my young offense its first real playoff experience. Even if we lose again in the first round, I feel much better about my team if a rookie quarterback led us to 10 wins and going to the playoffs. Now we were too good to be a bottom 5, bottom 10 team, but we weren't good enough to make the playoffs. That's frustrating because, again, I think we need, I think we could have used 1 season of really being bad. You know what I mean? Again, if we win 2 more games to the rest of the season, I'm actually okay with that at this point. I'm actually okay with that. If we only win 2 games the rest of the year, I'm okay with that again because that means we'll have a top 5 pick at worst, like 6th or 7th pick in the draft, and I think that's very important. The reason, and I know some people say, "Well, dang, what's wrong with 13, 14, 15?" The problem is, in typical Steelers history, the problem is you just miss out on those guys that you could really use. So, for instance, we really need a corner. It is obvious we need corners bad. To me, there are 3 guys in the first round that I think could be real day one impact players. At 15, you really might miss out on all 3 of them. Matter of fact, at 15, I think chances are you miss out on at least 2 of them, and you got to hope that third guy pans out. And I think that's been the problem with the Steelers in the Mike Tomlin era. Again, like I said, there was a lot of 8-8s. There were a lot of 9-7s. When we say he's never had a losing season, it's not like we were 12-4 every year. There were a lot of mediocre seasons in there in which, once again, you weren't good enough to win the Super Bowl or get anywhere close, but you weren't bad enough to get that top 10 talent that you desperately needed to put you over the top. Matter of fact, the guys on our defense now that are like that, we traded for one in Minka, who was a top 10 pick, and the other one fell to us in TJ Watt. I still to this day don't understand how he fell to the 30th pick in the draft. I will never understand that. But we got lucky he fell that far. Um, Guys like that don't usually fall that far. And so again, when you need a difference maker, you need to make sure you can go get that difference maker. And I can see it now. We desperately need a corner, and we're either going to end up taking the 4th cornerback off the board and he'll end up being a bust, or we end up taking a different position because the corners are gone and they might be helpful, but they might not be the quote unquote difference maker that we need. And then I'm going to see the 3 guys I want killing it on other teams, and I'm going to be upset. And that's the predicament that the Steelers are in right now because, again, you lost 3 games you had no business losing. So right now, our record, if the season were to end right now, we would have a top 10 record, a bottom 10 record. But because you have a whole bunch of other games left on the schedule that you can win, again, this team's not good enough to guarantee they'll win them, but they're good enough to say that I'm sure they'll win a handful of them. You're going to play yourself right out of a top 10 pick. We'll probably get an offensive lineman. I can see that at 13, 14, 15. There's about 3 or 4 offensive linemen that I would take in the first round. And because this offensive line class isn't as good as some of the other offensive line classes, one of those guys I would believe will be there at 13, 14, 15. But again, with that being said, this offensive line class isn't as good as some of the other classes. So again, at 15, if you're getting the second offensive lineman off the board, is that a difference maker? You see my point? Like, that's the point I'm making. So that's where the Steelers are at right now. It's very frustrating. It's a frustrating year. A lot of people are off the Kenny Pickett bandwagon. I think that's stupid. He's a rookie. He's going to make mistakes. He's going to throw picks. I'm not going to keep bringing up. I'm not going to be those people that bring up the Peyton Mannings of the world and everything else. You get it. Rookie quarterbacks usually struggle. They'll figure it out. I'm more concerned about offensive coordinator Matt Canada. I think he has to go. If they don't fire him this week, I think that's a problem. Fire him. You're on your bye week, which means you have, a week, 2 weeks to basically figure out your offense. I think that's what's more important right now. Uh, my Panthers lost a heartbreaker. Um, Kickers, man. I've never been on that bandwagon that kickers aren't football players because I know how hard it is to kick a field goal. As somebody who probably couldn't make a 10-yard field goal, I'm not gonna, you know, clown guys that do it for a living. But my God, bro, I it's days like yesterday where I understand where the kicker disrespect comes in. And I hate to bear down on that kicker, and I don't even remember his name. But dude, you have one job, one job, and man, I'm not gonna lie to you, I was so personally pissed off yesterday. I'm glad I'm not on the team because I probably would have said something disrespectful to that kicker and divided the locker room. Because my God, you cannot miss those kicks. I know a lot of people are blaming DJ Moore for taking his helmet off and costing them yardage on the extra point. And obviously the kicker missed the extra point. It was a 48 yarder. Again, I know not a cheap, not a gimme. Missed a 48 yarder to send it to overtime. I get that. And yeah, DJ Moore, I guess you got to keep your composure. But damn, dude hit a walk-off 62-yard Hail Mary catch. I mean, I'm sorry for him. My apologies for not keeping my cool in that moment. But what's the excuse in overtime? Again, like it's frustrating when when everybody else is doing their job and busting their ass to get a win, and you can't do as simple as just do your one job, which is kick the football. You know what I mean? Receivers are going to drop passes. Quarterbacks are going to throw interceptions. Running backs are going to fumble the ball. Offensive linemen are going to have penalties, you know what I mean, or give up sacks. But the difference is they're doing stuff every single play. You can't expect them to be perfect every single time. As a kicker, it's like, dude, you only got so many opportunities, bro. Only got so many opportunities. You're in a dome. There's no wind. There's no nothing. Like it was a perfect snap, perfect hold, perfect ball placement. You can't miss that kick. Your defense, your defense got you and not only got you an interception, but returned it all the way to like the 20-something yard line. You were already right there in field goal range. Then your offense did the smart thing. They didn't throw the ball. They trusted you. They ran the ball 3 times, got positive yards all 3 times to make it an even closer field goal. You got to make that kick. You got to make that kick. And again, I'm glad I wasn't on the team because I would have said something to do. Because it's like, damn, that's not fair, bro. We're busting our ass. Again, this is a physical sport. This is a dangerous sport. We're all fucked up. We're sore. We're tired. Well, some of us are injured now. Some of us have brain damage now. And you can't go in and kick a 30-something yarder as a professional. Again, I'm not talking about a high school kid. I'm not talking about a college kid. I'm talking about a paid professional. The 48 yarder, okay. Matter of fact, as soon as that penalty happened, I knew that was gonna happen. I was like, damn, they gonna miss this. But the 33 yarder, that was for first place, man. And think about that locker room right now. You've been struggling. Your quarterbacks haven't been playing well. Your coach gets fired. You know, people are getting traded. There's so much uncertainty in that locker room and in that organization. And yet, because everybody else in your division isn't playing well, you would have been in first place with that win. And your kicker can't even hit a 33-yard field goal inside of a dome. Come on, man. Come on, man. Again, I can't hit a 10-yarder, but I'm not in the NFL. I'm sitting at home watching the NFL. You understand? So come on, man. So I hate when people say, "Oh, well, you can't do it." What? I'm not expected to do it. We can't fly planes, but you best believe we expect our pilots to be able to do a good enough job to get us to and from our destination safely, correct? Most of us wouldn't know one thing about flying the plane. But I guarantee you, if the pilot did some dumb shit and we had to do a crash landing, you're are you not going to sue the airport? Hey, thank God I survived, but I have damages. I'm traumatized. Everything. Am I not going to sue the airport? So this notion of, oh, you can't do it, so you can't criticize. The fuck I can't. I'm not the one getting paid to do it. Come on, man. You see that Panthers hat back there? People spend their hard-earned money on these teams. People who don't have much spend their hard-earned money to watch this stuff. Yeah, we have the right to criticize. I'm sorry. You have a job to do. You're getting paid handsomely to do it. Again, I'm not talking about a high school kid. I'm not talking about a college kid. I'm talking about a paid professional football player cannot make what is considered in the NFL as a chip shot. For 99% of the world, that is not a chip shot. For him, that is something that he should be able to make in his sleep. And again, first place was on the line. With everything going on in that locker room, you have to hit that kick. You got to hit that. If we're being fit, if we're being honest, the 48 yarder he should hit. If we're being honest, everything inside 50 yards you're expected to make. If we're being honest, everything inside of 50 yards you're supposed to hit. So that 48 yarder, he should have hit anyway. And the way he's shanking this shit, again, he shanked a 33 yarder. I think that I believe an extra point is now 32 yards or something like that. So, people are putting blame on DJ Moore. Shit, who's to say he wouldn't have missed it anyway? Come on now. Who's to say he wouldn't have missed it anyway? You gotta hit the kick. You gotta hit the kick. I'm sorry. That's inexcusable. That is inexcusable. Y'all have one fucking job. Two, you do kickoffs and you do field goals. Come on, man. If you can't do your job right, you shouldn't get paid. Find somebody else. That's asinine that you would miss a kick like that. I'm sorry. With everything going on in that locker room, first place of all, you gotta hit the kick. Trade deadline's coming up tomorrow, as of this recording. I'll say today, because by the time you see it, it'll be today. I do want to talk about some trades. There are some trades that happened already. Again, if you watched our last video, we recorded that before the Roquan Smith trade. James Robinson, I believe, got traded afterwards. Was the Tony trade? Yeah, the Tony trade was after that as well. So there's already been some trades that have gone down since our last pod. I'm not going to talk about them here just in case there's not much action during, today or tomorrow, again, as of this recording. So just in case there's not much action, at least we have those trades to talk about on Wednesday. So I'll leave those for Wednesday as well. If there is a lot of action, then I'll just briefly touch on them on Wednesday. I guess I can briefly touch on them now. I think both trades were great. Robert Quinn trade, you only gave up a fourth rounder. Go Eagles. That's a great trade for them. Kadarius Toney, conditional third, and I think a sixth or a fifth or something like that. Low risk, high reward. A guy that everybody knows has talent. He was a first rounder. He didn't get traded because of his talent. Great trade. If they can unlock him, if he could really be Tyreek Hill 2.0. Oh no, let me not say 2.0. Charles hates when I say that. If he could be a somewhat version of Tyreek Hill, great trade. So that's just my initial reaction to it. Again, if we need to, we could get more in depth on Wednesday. But yeah, great trade. What I do want to talk about now is kind of like a preview type of thing, like some trades that I kind of hope happen. I desperately want the Steelers to trade Chase Claypool, not because I don't like Chase Claypool. It's because I think we can use the draft capital. And Calvin Austin is going to take his place. Now, granted, they are two totally different receivers. One's a big, tall, box out receiver. The other is a small, fast, you know, play in space receiver. But they're literally doing the same thing in our offense. They're literally playing the same role, which is the slot. Um, the jet sweep. Well, hopefully Matt Canada is not going to be here any longer. But assuming he is here, the jet sweeps, the wide receiver runs, that's going to be the reverses. That's going to be Calvin Austin anyway. That's why they drafted him. That's literally why they drafted him. Again, it's going to be a different style than Chase Claypool, but that's why they drafted him. Chase Claypool is playing the slot as like a bigger, you know, quote unquote second tight end type of player. Calvin Austin is going to be just a regular slot receiver. So you don't necessarily need Chase Claypool. Now, granted, we haven't seen Calvin Austin. He's probably not going to play this year, so you won't know till next year what you have in him. So that sucks. You know what I mean? So it's not like we know that he's going to be a good replacement for Chase Claypool. But the one thing we know how to do is draft receivers. So I'm not worried about that. If we need to replace Calvin Austin at some point, we will. Um, I think Chase Claypool, there are a lot of teams that are very desperate for receivers. The Giants, the Packers, the Titans specifically are all teams fighting for the playoffs that could use a receiver. So you might, if you can get a bidding war tomorrow or today, as you guys are seeing it, then maybe somebody will overpay. The Packers, to me, make the most sense. The problem with the Packers is they undervalue the wide receiver position so much that I can't see them giving up what we would want to give up. But again, if there's a bidding war between the Packers, the Giants, and the Titans, one of them might say, screw it. If you're the Giants, I mean, all right, let me I wish Charles was on this pod with me, but like if you're Chase Claypool is probably gonna, his value is probably at least a second round pick. If you're the Giants, do you give up a first round pick for Chase Claypool? Knowing that your division is right there, knowing that it's been forever since you made the playoffs, knowing that a guy like Chase Claypool in your offense can take you guys to the next level. Again, I don't think any Giants fans think they're going to win Super Bowl this year, but there's still years left on his deal. You can still sign him later. You still have 2 years to sign him as well. So it's not like, I know they don't have cap space right now, but 2 years from now, I'm sure they'll figure that out. So he's a nice young player on a rookie deal that can really help your football team. Again, even though you're in third place, you're only a game. Well, you're 3 games behind the Eagles, but there's still plenty of season left. I don't think the Eagles are going to go 17-0. Again, you play them twice. You have a chance to knock them down twice. Chase Claypool might be the difference. Is he worth the first? To me, the Packers should definitely do it, but we know they're not going to do it. They don't value wide receivers as first round talent. They just don't. They don't draft them at first round talent. I doubt they'll trade a first rounder for one. The Titans might. Again, their division's up for grabs. Again, they're a team that believes that they're just a few pieces away. They were the number one seed last year. Derrick Henry's still proving that he's one of, if not the best running back in the league. Is Chase Claypool worth the first? Again, I know he's not worth a first round pick, but when you have certain team, like just like McCaffrey, as good as he was, as good as he is, he's not worth all the picks the Panthers got. But when you have a bidding war, especially divisional foes like the Rams and the Niners, one team's going to overpay. So if I get the Steelers are saying they're not going to trade him unless they get an offer they can't refuse, which I agree with that as well. If you're not getting anything crazy for Chase Claypool, then there's no point of trading him, especially because, like I said, you're not getting Calvin Austin back this year. However, if you get a bidding war going, again, I think will he get traded? I don't know. To me, it's 50-50. I think the problem is the Packers. The problem is I think the Packers are going to be so freaking stubborn about this that they're not going to overpay. So even if the Giants and the Titans are kind of in a bidding war, I don't think the Packers are going to get into that sweepstakes, which I think is necessary, especially since Claypool is not the only receiver on the market. You got Jerry Judy, you got other guys. Um, so that's interesting. Jerry Judy's another. Again, speaking of Jerry Judy, I would love to see him get traded. I would love to see. He was one of my favorite receivers coming out of that draft. I thought he was going to be a star. It hasn't worked out in Denver. I would love to see him go somewhere. Um, Again, all those same teams, Giants, Packers, Titans, they could all use him. Um, Love to see it. Alvin Kamara has been a name that's been floated out there. That would be interesting. Uh, again, selfishly, I want the Steelers to get something for people. Roquan Smith, I got the Steelers. If the Steelers had a better record, I would say do it. The problem is Roquan Smith is probably going to cost you a first round pick. And again, even though I don't think again, the Steelers are weird because again, I think we're gonna go 5-4 even without Roquan Smith. TJ Watt's gonna be back. There's a lot of winnable games. With Roquan Smith, that might be the difference right there. Instead of 5-4, you might go 6-3. You might go 7-2. You know what I mean? Like, again, we're not gonna win a Super Bowl, but that might be the difference between the 15th pick in the draft and the 22nd pick in the draft. And at that point, with the 22nd pick in the draft, would you rather have had Roquan Smith or would you rather be at 13, 14, 15 and not know what you're getting? You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of where I'm at with it. If we can get a guy like Roquan Smith, difference maker, you know what I mean? We need difference makers on defense. We need difference makers on defense. Um, That's a trade I would love to see, especially if it only cost me a first. If it's going to cost me like a whole bunch of draft capital, I don't know because we're more than Roquan Smith away from being a great team. Um, but if it only cost me a first, that's something I gotta at least consider. It's something I gotta at least consider. Bradley Chubb, he's a difference maker. I don't want the Steelers to touch him because mm, he's been up and down too. I don't think it might. That also might only cost you a first at worst. That's interesting. I don't know. we do need edge help. No offense to Alex Highsmith, but it's clear that he's at best a Robin. He can't command his own. And even though I don't think TJ Watt's going to get hurt all the time, you need somebody that can get you a pass rush even when TJ Watt not in the lineup. So getting a guy like Bradley Chubb would probably be worth it, especially again if it's only going to cost you a first. So that's interesting. I don't know. But if I'm the Steelers, if I'm trading for somebody, those probably the only two people I would trade for. That's probably the only two people I would trade for. Again, and that's another thing. If you can trade Chase Claypool for a first and now you have two firsts, that makes it that much more interesting. Do or do if you're trading with the Bears, do you do kind of like a swap? Hey, Roquan Smith for Chase Claypool and a pick. I don't know. You know what I mean? So that's some of the trade. That's some of the trades I hope to see happen. Judy, Claypool, Chubb, Roquan Smith, Kamara would be interesting. I would kind of want to see Kamara on the Rams, just knowing I'm a sucker for rivalries, especially good ones. This 49ers and Rams rivalry is a good one. I would love to see the Rams say, okay, you got CMC, we'll go get Kamara. I would love to see that, honestly. They might have to give the Saints what the Niners gave the Panthers, but still, I would love to see it. Kareem Hunt is interesting. I think on the right team, he could be a difference maker. And you probably don't have to give up a lot to give him. So if you're the Eagles, do you do it? If you're the Bills, do you do it? Something to think about. That's why I'm very excited to do this trade deadline special. I'm hoping at least I named like 5 or 6 players. I'm hoping at least 3 of them get traded because that'll be really interesting to talk about. But yeah, I hope this is a great trade deadline. I hope we get a lot of breaking news alerts between now and end of Tuesday. Um, but yeah, I think that's everything for this video. Again, we're gonna do another one on Wednesday. Not much has changed, during the week. Again, Giants talk. Obviously, if Charles was here, we would dive into the Giants a little bit more. But yeah, kickers, make your fucking kicks. I think that's my biggest takeaway of this week. Make your freaking kicks. That is so freaking annoying. That pisses me off when that happens. I mean, obviously, unless it happens against my team, then good for you. But I hate that shit. Um, Steelers are gonna be weird. They're in this limbo phase. We're gonna have a losing season most likely. It's just a matter of how many games we win. Because again, we have a lot of winnable games. A lot of winnable games. Now we got to win them. We're not good enough to just assume we're going to win them, but we have a lot of winnable games in my opinion. Um, and because of that, again, are we buyers? I think that's going to be very telling. If we're buyers or sellers tomorrow? Because again, as bad as our season has been so far, there's a lot of room for optimism. TJ Watt will come back. Very winnable schedule. Nobody's ran away with our division yet, so you're still kind of in the division. I think you're still only 2 or 3 games back with plenty of time left. Jamar Chase is out, so the Bengals are still not really, running away with anything. You still got to play the Ravens twice, so you can again knock them back down a peg or two if you beat them. And again, I know that's not the Mike Tomlin way. I know it's not the Steeler way. We're not going to just give up on the season. So they're not going to tank. They're going to try to win every single game. Question is, how many games are they going to win? And if you know you're going to try to win every single game and still try to make the playoffs and still try to maintain the non-losing season because it's still up for grabs. Now again, you can only lose 2 more games. Again, are you buyers? Do you get a Bradley Chubb? Do you get a Roquan Smith? I don't. It's gonna be interesting. I can't wait to talk about it with you guys on Wednesday. But I'm the Unfor One himself. You can find me at Never Bread Me. That's NEVA underscore the number 4 BRETT underscore ME on Instagram and Twitter. Charles is at not the Chuck D on all the socials. We're on the underscore dope blog on Instagram, the dope blog, all one word on Twitter. Our website is the dope.blog. Because you're watching this on YouTube, please like, share, and subscribe, and join us next time as we just continue to discuss other people's excellence. Y'all have a blessed day. Deuces.